Hello friends, welcome to JavaEE EJB JPA tutorial. Now you are watching final part of the implementation. In the next video, we will learn extra stuff from what we learned from all these 6-part videos. So here in this video, we are going to query account by its balance amount. So let's quickly go through the previous parts. These are all the prerequisites. Now you are watching subseries 6. So in the first video, we learned about Jpql. So we learned the concepts. Here you can see how the Jpql is transformed into the underlying database query structure. Our underlying database is a MS SQL server, and by this time you are aware of this Jpql. And if you see, this Jpql will get converted into select star from savings account. Next, we talked about entity manager and Jpql. So entity manager provides create query method, and from the create query we can pass the Jpql and get the query object, and from that returned query object we can make a call to execute update, get single result, get result list, all the stuff. And in the next video we created a HTML form to perform various search operation. And in this video now we are going to implement the search option based on the balance. So we will make use of user input from these two form field data, and we will process that in Servlet. Then we will make a call to bin layer, and we will retrieve the list of entities that matches the criteria selected here. And in our previous video we have a JSP file that processes a list of entities, saving account entities, and we will use the same JSP file to process the return result. So in this tutorial we are not concentrating on handling the errors. So in the first video we implemented search by account ID. After implementing that, we implemented search by account name. So when we implemented search by account name, we introduced the Jpql, and in our previous video we queried all the accounts. Now in this subpart we will implement querying the savings account by its balance. So by this time you may be well aware of in what direction we will implement our code snippets. First we go to our bean interface and we declare a method. This time the method name will be query by balance, and we pass balance then mode. So here user will input a balance, then they will input balance should be equal to 1000 or less than or greater than. So those will be specified by this mode. So this mode will tell, so if it is -1, less than, 0 means equals, +1 means the balance greater than 1000. So the radio buttons will supply this mode, and the text field will receive the balance, and we will pass that here to the bean method. So in the implementation, if you say, we are forming the Jpql as usual, and select SAC from savings account, SAC alias. So select SAC from savings account, SAC. We saw this in our previous videos. Then in the where condition, we are accessing the balance property of the entity sac.bal. Note, this one is not the database column name. This is the data member defined inside the savings account. So sac.bal equal to, this will be the placement holder to replace the content with the parameter. So when we are defining, if you see in the where condition, we place the operator equal to. We will replace this also when we proceed here. So first we check if mode equal to -1. That means we need to get balance less than what is given here. So equal to, we are replacing as less than. So Jpql, so this is just it's a string, right? So we are making a replace function call, and if mode is 1, we replace this equal to with greater than, otherwise we leave it as it is. And once this is defined based on the incoming mode, then we make a call to create query method by supplying the JPA-SQL. And this JPA-SQL, whatever is passed here, will have a valid operator equal to, greater than, or less than. After that, we need to replace this balance, right? For that, we make use of query.setParameter, and we replace this balance. So this is the placeholder, right? We skip this column and we specify the balance. Then whatever is coming here, parameter 1, and we replace that here, P1. After that, query.get result list. So it may return one or more result, or sometime null. So null we are not handling here. So null we are not handling here. List savings account. So list of savings account, and we are returning that. So that's the return type here. List of savings account. List here is java.util. So list here is from java.util package, and we are returning list of savings account entity. And if you see here, we performed 2 replace. One, we manually replaced it using the string replace. We used the standard string replace function, and based on the mode, we replace this operator equal to, greater than, or less than. Because in our form, we receive the amount. After that, we have 3 radio buttons. So that states less, equal, or more. So this radio button feeds this mode, and based on the mode, we replace this equal to operator. Then the balance here. So this balance here, we are replacing whatever is coming here, or whatever is user is feeding. That will come here as a parameter balance, and we make use of set parameter method. So this one also get replaced. Here this time we use the query objects set parameter method, and we replace that balance placeholder. So now we go back to our servlet, and in the servlet we check so this time we are checking balance not equal to null and we are trimming it. Then we make sure submit button 3 is clicked by the user. So all these three together tells that user provided a valid balance amount, and then we also made sure submit 3 button was clicked by the user. And if you see here, if user types ABC123 in the balance field, we are not validating all those stuff. So our whole purpose of learning the Jpql will go complex if you do all those validation. So when we are testing it, we will better provide number in the balance field of the search form. Alright, so as part of our form field processing, we have balance in the string format under the variable balance. So we construct a new integer, and from that new integer we make a call to int value. So this way we get integer representation of balance given in the text field. After that, bal search option. So this one is our radio button. All three radio button shares the same name, and from there we retrieve the bal search option. Actually, this is the mode which will hold a value of -1, 0 or +1. So we are converting that as a integer value and we store that in the mode. Now both the parameter required for the query by bal is ready. So we make a call to saving account bean class instance, proxy instance, and we make a call to our method call, and we supply balance as well as mode. So the remaining stuff query by bal will take care, and it forms a Jpql, replaces the operator based on the mode, then replaces the balance amount, and then executes the query on the underlying database, retrieves list of savings account, and we store that under the accounts reference. Then as usual, using the request dispatcher, we forward using the request dispatcher, we forward the list of savings account to the JSP file, query result multiple. After that we make a call to forward. So the request and response will get forwarded to this query result multiple JSP, and this JSP file knows how to process list of entities. Because in our previous video we queried all the savings account entity and we displayed it. Now this time we query the savings account based on its balance. So it may either return one record or even no record or multiple record. So the query result multiple will take care of processing this list and displaying it. So now it's time to demo. We will go to Eclipse. So we will close all the files and we will start from here. First we will go to our bean layer, the remote interface layer. And in here we declare our final method. So query by balance takes two parameter, balance and mode. Next we go to our EJB bean layer, and in the bean layer we will implement this new function. So this function was already explained in our PowerPoint slide. So if you see here, Jpql, based on the incoming mode, we are replacing the operator, this operator equal to operator with less than or greater than based on the mode. Then we make a call to create query method of entity manager, and we retrieve the query, and from the query we make a call to set parameter, and then we execute the query on the underlying database. Query.getResultList, which returns a list of savings account. And if you see here, entity manager, we use persistent context, unit name, JPA savings account. So as part of the prerequisite, we told that in the previous sub-series, we explained how to provide this persistent context. So it requires a big setting. First, you have to define a connection to the SQL server, and that requires downloading the driver, all those stuff. So that's why you have to go through the prerequisite first, then you can come back here to continue with the demo. So JPA savings account unit name, and this unit name you can find in persistence.xml. So in our entity project, if you see, we have persistent.xml, and there we have the unit name JPA savings account. So that's what we specify here. I don't want to reiterate those stuff, since we have seen this em.find, em.create query, all those stuff multiple time in this sub-series. You may be wondering where from this em is coming. So all these stuffs are already defined, and if you see our coding notation, sample 3, that means a sub-series 3. So this one is sub-series 3, code snippet 6, that it tells you how this entity manager was defined. All right, now our servlet layer also completed. Okay, servlet layer is not yet completed, and we just completed our Bean implementation. We will go to servlet now. Now we will go to the servlet. And this will be our final piece of code snippet as part of this sub-series 6. And here if you see, as already told in the PowerPoint slide, we get balance and more. Then we make call to our Bean layer, and the retrieved object, we set it in the request context. Then we make a request dispatch to the presentation layer. Now we will start the server. So add and remove and publish the EAR, which contains all the required project. Click finish. So EJB EAR is deployed, and we can see started. While fly is started, EJB our component also started, and both are in sync. Now so the Eclipse inbuilt browser have some refresh issue. That's why we prefer using the external browser, Internet Explorer or Chrome, whatever browser you like, you can use it. So instead of typing all this stuff manually, I'm just starting it here in the IDE itself, then copying the URL to avoid any mistakes. So first we will get all the accounts, and we will get the account which holds more than 1200. That means 1200 means this will qualify. Balance is 1500, 2100, and 1, 2, 3, almost 4 record will qualify. Alright, now we will go ahead. So balance, this time I'm using 1200 less than, so there will be 1. So if you see I clicked the wrong one, I have to click here. And account ID 2 is owned by Raman Lamba. Balance is 700. And if I click here, we won't see Raman Lamba. And there are 4 account holder who is maintaining the balance more than 1200. So let's pick 1400 and we will put equal, and it tells account ID 6 is owned by Moni Menon. Balance is 1400. So this completes our example. But in the next video, we will look at some more Jpql query technique. In this example, our Jpql returned the complete entity. That means all field we retrieved. It's kind of a select star from. So in SQL, sometimes we will end up using a specific field, right? Select field name 1, field name 2, field name 3 from table name. So how do we write such a query in Jpql? Because we don't have a record in Jpql. In Jpql, instead of column name, we specify the class template and field names. So in our previous queries, we used a select alias name for the entity, then from the entity name. Likewise, we used. And in the next video, we will see how you can retrieve field selectively from the entity. So the return value definitely will not be the entity, because you are partially retrieving a specific field. So all those stuff we will learn in the next video. So there will not be any example. So far, whatever you learned, that will help you to understand the next video. So first let us stop this. Next, we will remove this. After that, we will stop our server. So just now you watched the demo. That's all here in this video. Thank you for watching. Bye.